Hello, my name is Phaedra. We have a flower farm in Australia, and right now I'm standing in our flower and veggie field, and I'm here to teach you how to build a bed so that you can grow some of your own vegetables or flowers. I've been seeing on social media in groups and things, I'm guessing new and upcoming growers wondering how to start a bed, and it made me think this is such a simple thing for us now, but there may be many people out there who just don't know how to do it. So I'm going to talk you through a couple of ways to do it, and it doesn't matter if you don't have equipment. You can do this all with a shovel, and in fact these first 4 rows here we did by hand. What we did with these beds was we kind of marked out where they were going to go, and we laid cardboard down and brought in soil and put it on top, and it worked really good. The only downfall with that is the grass and weeds do eventually come back up through that cardboard. It breaks down and anything that's kind of hardy underneath will come through. And the second issue with it is it can be very expensive, and you don't know how good the soil is going to be that you're ordering in. So what we've come to know as the probably best way for us to start a new bed is we mark it out. We've got our beds all marked out with these star pickets. All of our beds are 12 meters long. I'll put the conversions up. 12 meters long, 1.2 meters wide, with an 80 centimeter pathway. It ends up giving us 12 square meters of growing space, because those little edges, we lose about 10 centimeters from the edge of each row because we mound them up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. You can see here we have our row. It's marked out at 120 centimeters, but you can see that it comes in from the edge. So I'll cut in and shape it, and that just helps us keep the grass. It's a bit easier to maintain the grass on the edges. So your very, very first step is to work out what size you want your beds and mark it out. We started with this plot first, and we kind of filled that out. We realized we really liked the length of these beds, and then we continued to just build beds after that. And now we've got 3 plots. Each have 8 rows. We have one that has an extra row in it, and we'll just keep moving backwards, building them out as we want more rows. But for now, we feel like we've got enough. You want to have really good sun exposure. Most of these plants are going to need full sun, and you mark everything out. So you've got everything marked out. We will then use string lines, and I'll run them between the posts on each end to get a very straight edge, and then I'll start cutting in an edge. So if you're doing this by hand, it's just a good old shovel and you're marking out all the edges, and then you're using a fork to break up the soil in between and start digging the grasses or whatever it is that you have in the way, digging those out, weeding out your bed. You can just build straight on top, like mow it down and build straight on top, but the weeds are going to come through. And my advice is clean up those beds and get rid of as much grass and weeds and things as possible right from the beginning. And it's going to take a few years for that to sort of become at a point where, well, for us, it took a few years for those beds to get to a point where we're just weeding easily from them. This is our 4th season. We're almost at the end of it, and we're only just now getting to the point where we're not having to till every bed every season. So if you've got a tiller, which it was the first big purchase we made, and it was probably just the best thing. We sort of wished that we had just spent the money on that earlier, right from the beginning. So if you've got the means to get a tiller, we highly recommend it. It's just a game changer. For us, we till for the first few seasons until we really get a hold on the grasses and weeds in those beds, and then from there we switch to sort of a no-till hybrid. We'll still turn the soil over, but it's so much easier and less disruption. If you've got your tiller, you're just running it between, so this has just been freshly tilled, you're just running it in between the posts or your marks. Don't put the string line on yet, because if it gets caught up in the tiller, it is going to cause a huge issue and set you back a lot of time while you fix it. it sort of crumbs things up really fine, and it's much easier to then mix amendments in, so compost or manure. We actually will put the manure down first. We will put everything on our soil first and till it through, and it mixes it up for us. Then once you've got that space nicely sort of tilled over, weeded it out. I weed it before tilling to make sure that the tiller can go through and really mix up that soil for us, and mix the amendments in. Then run your string lines out and start edging in the edges. It doesn't really, once you're at that point, it doesn't really take too long, and it makes it very, very neat and tidy, and it gives you a really nice height to plant into. It also for us gives us a little runoff if we get flooding. We're a little bit prone to flooding here. If we were going through drought, we wouldn't mound up the edges. We'd leave them flat, and we just have to maintain the grasses. The grasses are going to get back into those beds much easier if there isn't that little ditch on the edge and the lip where the bed is mounded up. Having that edging is helping us keep on top of these invasive grasses that we have that want to run into our garden beds. Something else you can do is you can get soil testing done just to find out exactly what you need in your soil. And then you know what amendments to add in. But if you're right at the beginning and you just want to get some beds made and you want to do it quickly, you want to get some flowers or some veggies in, and you really want to just get started, that's the easiest way that we've found to do it. In some areas, you might even be able to hire a tiller or borrow one from somebody. It's that piece of equipment that we have used over and over and over and over, and has just been a lifesaver for us. So I hope this helps. I hope that this will help you feel more confident about getting started. The main thing is just start something. Once you kind of start getting into it, you'll be able to plow ahead and start growing some beautiful flowers and some beautiful veggies. Okay, see ya.